Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to take something seemingly simple, maybe just a headline, and really unpack it, see what's hiding underneath. And today, our source is exactly that. It's a headline from the Washington Post, published just today, July 25th, 2025. And the headline, it's short: Trump-era school funds released. That's it.
Right. And our mission, if you will, for this deep dive is to explore what that single line, plus a bit of context like the date, the URL mentioning Trump OMB can tell us. We want to figure out the journey of these funds, the bureaucracy involved, and what it means for schools right now.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack this because what's fascinating, I think, is how much a few words can hint at. That phrase, Trump era.
Exactly. It immediately signals we're talking about decisions or maybe funds allocated under a past administration, years ago potentially.
And school funds is obvious enough. That's who benefits. Education.
Yep. Clear beneficiary.
Yep.
But then you get to released.
Released. Yeah, that feels like the key word, doesn't it?
It really does. It implies they were held up somehow.
Yeah.
Delayed. Not just newly allocated funds, but funds that should have been available earlier, maybe.
So held back. Why?
Well, that's where it gets interesting. If you look at the article's URL, sometimes those little clues in the web address matter. And this one apparently includes Trump
OMB, Office of Management and Budget?
Precisely. That suggests the OMB during the Trump administration might have been involved in the holdup. The OMB is pretty powerful. They oversee federal spending, agency management. During that time, the OMB was quite involved in, let's say, interpreting appropriations, sometimes leading to funds being frozen or delayed, things like impoundment actions. So that URL snippet, Trump is a huge clue.
Ah, okay. So it's not just like paperwork got lost somewhere.
It could be simple bureaucracy, but the context suggests maybe more. Possibly policy disagreements or specific budget execution decisions from that era.
Which are only being resolved now, years later.
Exactly. And that's what's really important for listeners to grasp, I think. Headlines about government finance, they often cap off these really long, complex stories. What seems like old news funds from a previous administration suddenly becomes current because the issue's finally been untangled, or the money is actually flowing. It shows how government timelines can stretch out.
It really underscores the inertia involved sometimes, doesn't it? Decisions made years ago having effects today.
Definitely. Think about a school district. They need predictable funding to plan. If money designated years ago suddenly appears, well, it's welcome, but it speaks volumes about the process.
It makes planning difficult, I imagine. Like, how do you budget for something you weren't sure was ever coming?
It's a real challenge. You might have delayed maintenance or held off on a new program. Then suddenly the resources are there, but you're playing catch up.
So, just recapping from this single headline: Trump-era school funds released. We've got funds from a past administration, likely delayed due to complex processes, potentially involving the OMB under Trump,
That's the strong implication.
and only now reaching schools. A multi-year journey, encapsulated in just 5 words. So what does this really mean for you listening? I think it just highlights that government financial announcements often have these deep, sometimes tangled histories. What seems like a simple release of money today can be the final step in a process that started, well, years ago. It shows how past decisions keep shaping our present.
Right. And connecting this to the bigger picture, it brings up a really important question for you to think about. How did these long funding cycles, these bureaucratic delays, actually impact the stability of our schools? Or, other public services? It's not just if the money is allocated, but when it actually arrives. That timing is crucial for planning for effectiveness.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And just a final thought to leave you with. Consider the ripple effects. When funds designated years ago are delayed, what does that mean for a community? It affects resources, obviously, but also program development, maybe staffing decisions. And ultimately, it impacts the experience of students long after the original policy was debated or the budget was set. So, yeah, the simple act of releasing funds can tell a really profound story about history, policy, and how choices echo through time.